So Matt, once again, we're about to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Lucas. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, you just feel free to send a request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And at this point, he wanted me to do a commentary on the 1998 film Mulan. So let's get right to it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Now, I did not grow up with this film. I've seen this film like once, and I do like the film, but I didn't grow up with the film, so I don't really have any stories with that. And I don't really know much about the making of the film, so I don't really have stories about that, so I really don't know how this commentary is going to play out, but oh well. Do my best. Now, I do remember liking the film because I thought the voice work was pretty solid. I thought, Eddie Murphy, Me Na Win, everybody else. I like the songs. The songs were very catchy. In particular, the "Be a Man" song. Be a man. Very catchy song. Very lush animation, and a lot of personality compared to the 2020 film, which I'm not a fan of at all. Thought the 2020 film was boring. It was bland. It was overlong. Like this one's like 80 some minutes long. The other's 2 hours for no damn reason. Again, this animation, even the way this all looks, it's more striking than anything in the 2020 live action film. And there's a bird, even the fuck you look. Little asshole. Now, apparently, I mean, this is based on. There's an old story of Mulan. I think in the original story, it wasn't the Huns. It was. I think they called them the right way in the newer film. I forgot what they were called. They started this fire for. If it was Zack Snyder, it would take like 2 more minutes to start this fire. Just be shooting an arrow, it goes across the ocean, it would go into a little cubicle, and then go to 3 other people, then be another 2 minutes before that message started. Like in Zack Snyder's Justice League. But yeah, this has a pretty good voice cast. I mean, you got Miguel Ferrer, may he rest in peace, who was in RoboCop among others. He's the main villain. You have Pat Morita as the Emperor, Mr. Miyagi himself. George Takai, he comes up as one of the ancestor characters. But yeah, there's Pat Morita. And Me Na Win, who I remember, she was Chun-Li in the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter film. Let's see. I know other people in this. You have like James Hahn, who's Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China. He's one of the voices. Soon Tech O, the bad guy missing in action to the beginning. He's one of the voices. Of course, Eddie Murphy. Diddy Watanabe is one of the three guys who's training with Mulan. Also, Diddy Watanabe from 16 Candles and Vamp. He's one of the voices. Harvey Fierstein, he was the gravelly guy who was, I think, Robin Williams' brother in Mrs. Doubtfire. He's also the guy I talked with Jeff Goldblum at the first act of Independence Day. Kind of Jeff Goldblum's boss or whoever he was. Oh my god, Mulan is not altogether perfect. Like an actual fucking person. So it makes her a more relatable character because they have faults and then they grow to be a better person. Like fucking reality. It's not. There are movies that have done it well, but for the most part, when you have a character perfect from 5 minutes in, and then they have nowhere else to go, it's kind of a more boring fucking character. Unlike the, which happened in the new one. One of the many reasons why that film sucked. They have this June Foray as the grandmother. This Cricket. Supposed to be Lucky Cricket. Which I guess it works. At least lucky for her, not for them. Which they don't have a cricket in the new one. It's like this one phoenix that does absolutely nothing, and the phoenix seems like it's only there to, hey, this one cool shot where it rises above Mulan because it looks like she has wings, kind of like that scene at the end of Game of Thrones that I've seen people reference enough times that even as a guy that haven't seen much of Game of Thrones, I'm like, I know that shot, I know that scene. It's a tattoo. Leave me alone. That's the thing, though, is when you take away songs like the songs in this, you're just taking away a bit of the personality that made Mulan this film work. And if you want to make a super serious one, then you don't have a fucking witch turn into a bird like you did in the new one. I need everyone to shut up and take off your clothes. That's an order from the Emperor. I'm just telling you what I've been told. The Emperor has told me to tell you, you need to shut up and you need to take off your clothes. Grandma, you didn't leave them on. The rest you need to drop down. It fits the fucking sleeves. Your hands not even going through them. This is your food for later. If you need a snack, you can have some crickets. I guess the singing voice of Mulan is Leia Salonga. Never heard of her. I know the one guy, the captain, the voice is BD1, who's the guy you would see in some of the Jurassic Park movies. The singing voice of him is Donny Osmond. And actually, if you watch the foreign version, the singing voice of the captain is Jackie Chan. And if you don't believe me, go up, type in Jackie Chan Mulan. There's even like a music video where he's singing "Be a Man," in his natural dialect. It was kind of a fun video to watch. Just wanted to have to be one of the suitors, pimp her out. Fuck this fat bitch. kick her in the fucking tits. You won't feel it. And the trick is like, fuck this bitch. I'm gonna attack her. I don't think they had that in the remake either. The whole her. I mean, that gets into the thing when you talk about remakes. You complain about stuff that's not in the original, even though you say you don't want a carbon copy, but at the same time, it doesn't really do anything better. The remake. That's why the remake to me is completely pointless. Because I watch, I go, not one single thing in this was done better than it was in this film. This film is a shorter film. It's a faster paced film. The characters, like Mulan, her facial movements, her emotions in her eyes, her face, her voice. Mina Wen is a better actress than the girl they have. I'm sorry, and I know it's voice acting, but Mina Wen brings more personality to her voice work. Maybe you should shave your mole. You have more hair on your face than I do, lady. Oh, lady in question. Listen, I don't care, Ronda Rousey, with your fucking mole. I'll be down my face. Fucking shit. Claptrap horse shit. Even the horse looks depressed. Why the fuck should you be worried about her getting married? Let her do shit on her own. I know it's the culture of the time, that's why. Good job, Cricket, you fucked up. You should be lucky she doesn't eat your ass. Which is funny, they want to take away the songs, but I remember one of the trailers for the new one had an instrumental version of this song. It's just like they obviously know people enjoy these songs and they have a nostalgia fondness for them. Even the direction, like this direction here with all of the different mirror-like images, which makes sense because the title of the song, Reflection. But it also, it's like the people in the remake don't realize these songs actually are telling part of the story, the background, the buildup of character for your lead performance. And okay, if you're going to take them out, you better have something as a substitute, and it doesn't. It's just her being a superpower bitch with chi. Yeah, yeah, Soontek O, who's the bad guy, and Missing Action to the beginning of the Chuck Norris film. And like you said, quite a few, at least for me, recognizable actors on the voice cast. It's funny, they got Jackie Chan, like Jackie Chan did the foreign version. I'm surprised they didn't get Jackie Chan for this version. Maybe they asked, I don't know. Like, Jackie Chan seemed like, why'd I get him for the captain? But then the more I think about it, this was 1998. when this came out. So it was probably being done maybe in 1997. 1997, Jackie Chan, he was known. I mean, Rumble in the Bronx came out in the U.S., Super Cop. But, hmm. Really, it seemed like he broke out even more in the U.S., that is, with Rush Hour, and that was 1998. So, maybe the people didn't think of asking Jackie Chan, or they didn't think he was a big enough star, which would be idiotic. But idea if Jackie Chan was willing to do the overseas version, it's like, why not just do Jackie Chan for this version? Don't understand. And yeah, James Hahn, of course, from Blade Runner, Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China, The Golden Child. He's done a lot of movies. Of course, the whole story here is war is coming. The brain, the father, back to war. Even though he's injured, he's I'm going to ignore this. I like the animators that still was consistent to put a little bit of the limp on the leg. Getting ready for war because he has no sons to do it, so supposedly he's going to do it. Showing a bit of his frailty, which further instigates Mulan to doing what she's going to do. Yeah, I find it sad that they put more emotion on her face, and this is an anime character, than a real fucking person has when they did a remake. Just a blank slate. Blank fucking slate. No, not because she's Asian, because she's a shitty actress. At least she seemed like a shitty actress in the new movie, whoever the hell that lady was. Fight, 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 fight. Just body slam him, lady. Or do him in a nutcracker. Might have to turn on fans. I would say it's hot, but it's Texas, so every day is hot. Except, the few weeks that was colder than the Arctic. But other than that, those weeks, it's always hot. I know there's great commentary for the film, so. But again, I didn't grow with the movie. I don't have any background information on the film. I mean, I guess I could read off Wikipedia, but people could just read the Wikipedia themselves. I don't own the film, so I'm watching it. I found a place online. I downloaded it, so I could watch it on the computer here. I also gotta give credit to the score. It's a fairly good score. I think Jerry Goldsmith did the score. Like, this piece here is pretty good score. I think it's Jerry Goldsmith. I could be wrong on that. I keep thinking Jerry Goldsmith. Name's popping up in my head. Yeah, I could be wrong. Akrabai is Jerry Goldsmith. Again, this piece of the score, very striking to me. And again, unlike the remake, it shows certain artistic, with the sword, revealing her face, reflection of her face on the sword, the fact it's all cloudy and rainy out, so it gives a bit of atmosphere at this decision that she's going to embark on that's going to change her life forever. And in the remake, it just nothing, honestly. Nothing at all. What the fuck? He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck's this? What's going on? Mulan, you still owe me money. She didn't fucking pay up. God damn it. Son of a bitch. Sorry if you wonder what I'm doing. I'm also uploading some videos as I'm doing this. Oh great, I got a copyright claim on my review of Bloodsport 2. Well, screw it, I'll just keep it on there. Oh, for that crappy song in that movie. Okay, whatever, I'll keep it. Guess you win this time. Won't be making money off that video. There you go. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Thanks for that. Here we go. We have Eddie Murphy as Mushu, which, for what I understand, the reason he was taken out of the remake is because I guess people were offended by the dragon. Whatever. Fucking stupid thing to be offended by, then. Say that much. Let's see. Yeah, here we get the ancestors. One of these is George Takei from Star Trek. Sulu from Star Trek. Sorry, I don't really have much to say about this. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, the images. Andale, andale, limpicina, minia, pachita, pachita. I mean, sorry, I don't really have much to say about this. I don't really know what to say. I know the most exciting commentary, isn't it? I apologize for that. Eddie Murphy at this time, he was doing films like mainly family-friendly movies or more family-friendly. Yeah, the Night Professor films, the Dr. Dolittle films. After this, you'd have Daddy Day Camp, things of that nature. Daddy Daycare, not Daddy Day Camp. That's a sequel of Cuba Gooding Jr. Daddy Daycare. You have the Haunted Mansion. I mean, this is the era of that, so again, get more of that mentality for Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy does a good job on the voice. I don't really have much issues with the voice of it. So did he pretty much kill the dragon there? Is that what I'm led to believe? Well, I guess you can't kill them, but still, aren't they now destroyed forever, if that's the case? Because we're supposed to have these dragons brought back, but by making them crumbled, are they kind of dead? Are they not dead? I mean, maybe they're already dead, but deader? Deadest? I don't know. Shit. Damn it. 1 second, guys. Just gonna pause for a bit here. I'm paused at 24 minutes 55 seconds. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta turn on the fan. Just too damn hot in here. Way too damn hot. Way too hot in here. Way too hot. Let's see. I'll leave that on for a bit there. You can probably hear the ceiling fan, but it's so hot in here, I'll leave that on for a little bit. And the fact I'm underneath it, it feels good. It feels a lot better. So I'm paused at 24 minutes 55 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. All right. Cricket pretty much telling him to go fuck himself. He's an idiot. Follow me, you dumbass. Well, you could, maybe he said it. I mean, we don't understand cricket. Sure, the shadow steam they have on the villains here. The horses, they have like more red eyes. But when we saw Mulan's horse earlier, is much more of a nicer white eyes. So I just like little details to more showcase how evil these guys are. Like a darker shade to them, more like gray, like almost like it's cloudy whenever they're around. And in their eyes, they're like more, well, more like that bird, like more yellow. And Miguel Ferrer, I mean, underrated talent. This is a guy that deserved a lot more work. I mean, he was in Deep Star 6, he was in, like I said, RoboCop, Hot Shots Part 2. Was not used nearly as well as he should have been in his career. This is a guy that showed down a lot of more roles where he got to be the lead. He was in one, wasn't really that great. I already forgot what it was called, but it deal with people stealing human organs. Interesting idea, but it's a very meh. And you see that horse? Like, that horse is a lot nicer looking with the eyes and a lot more welcoming. See, and lo and behold, Mulan doesn't know everything. She doesn't know how to pull out a sword, because that means there's somewhere to go. Character arc. Sorry, now I'm just listening to Eddie Murphy. But yeah, I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan. I mean, I love The Golden Child, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, 1 and 2. I even think films like Metro are very underrated. But, you know, you have other films that just aren't much to me. Like, a lot of his direct-to-videos stuff, Horse just said, fuck you. Stepped on his ass. I know at one point Eddie Murphy was up for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and he did not. He said no, and then when he saw the film, I think, has said it's one of his biggest regrets. It's not saying yes to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So I think that's why years later he was more open to doing stuff like this, and the voice of Donkey and Shrek and all the Shrek movies. I just bad things like, well, what is this? This sounds stupid. And then he saw it and said, wow, I'm the stupid one. Which, I mean, if Bob Hoskins did a great job in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but if Eddie Murphy was in it, it still would have been a big hit, but I think that would have really propelled him perhaps even further in mainstream popularity. Because that was around the time, that was what, 88 or so? He was getting ready to, I think, well, Coming to America came out the same year. But then you had Harlem Nights, and that was a bomb, and even though he made some good movies during that time, like I liked The Distinguished Gentleman. Um, Box office wise, wasn't really the greatest, which is why then he went more towards The Night Professor and this other stuff. But yeah, these are the guys who are going to be training with her, like Geddy Watanabe. There's Harvey Firestein with a more distinct, gravelly voice. Again, he was in Mrs. Doubtfire and Independence Day. And this is definitely a time with Disney that a lot of these guys, or a lot of these characters in Disney films, they always had some little comedic sidekick. Like Hunchback of Notre Dame, or like even going back a bit further, Beauty and the, uh, even further. I mean, trying to remember what the first one they did, but like, look at Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast had all those. Well, that's, I'm not sure that counts. They weren't really a sidekick to the lead characters, more to the Beast, like the candlestick and all that. But like Hunchback of Notre Dame, you had the gargoyle, stone creatures. Aladdin, you had the little monkey. Hercules, you had the Dan DeVito character who would follow him around. Yeah, a lot of these movies kind of had, well, we have some type of creature, some kind of little thing that follows our lead character around, usually for comic relief. But Eddie Murphy at least didn't come off as annoying or irritating in this film. Because some tend to do that. Like, I liked Hunchback of Notre Dame, Notre Dame, I've heard it pronounced both ways. But the Gargoyle Stone, I don't think you needed those characters in that movie. Even something like Treasure Planet, later on when you had Martin Short as the computer, I think it was named Ben, you didn't need that character either. But like Timon and Pumbaa and Lion King, they worked well. Eddie Murphy works well here. And this captain, like I said, voiced by BD1. He'd be one of the researchers in Jurassic Park, and later you see him in Jurassic World and the sequel to that, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Again, very nice animation. Back in the day when Disney did 2D animation. Now it's all 3D stuff. And that was because they came to a point where when they were doing 2D, even 2D animation with 3D backgrounds, they were not doing well. Titan AE with Fox, solid movie, 2D with 3D animation backgrounds, didn't do well. Treasure Planet, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, didn't do well. Good movies, but they still didn't do well. So that's when it's like, no, we're going to go more towards just fully 3D. And Toy Story films, very successful. The Shrek films, very successful. You go where the money leads you to. So that's why I'm not saying those films bomb because they were 2D, but a studio looks at it that way. They say, well, these films, what do they have in common? And these films that are huge hits, what do they have in common? Oh, Monsters Inc., Toy Story films, Shrek films, they're all 3D. Like, they're all computer. I keep saying 3D, but 3D anime as in like Pixar, like computer. Well, it looks like they have Dimension. They figured that's the way to go, and I think you once in a blue moon had a 2D anime film like the Frog Princess, but not too much, not too many, especially not anymore. Which is too bad. It's a shame. Um, there's still an. I mean, I liked a lot of the Pixar stuff, but there's a nice. I don't know what you call it. It's like a lot of things. There's a nice art to 2D animation. There's a reason why it was successful for years upon years and decades upon decades. And then at this time, like Mulan did decent at the box office. I mean, it made over 300 million worldwide, but the films they were doing like this, Hunchback of Notre Dame, they were not the blockbuster hits of The Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast. And I mean, it's good movies, but it's just you, it's a lot of times studios. I think they expect too much of stuff where you can make a good movie. That doesn't mean it's going to be a blockbuster that captures the hearts of millions like The Lion King or Aladdin. And maybe they expect every film to make the same amount of money, and it's ridiculous. Thinking that way is what's going to help into failure. Like back in the day with Canon Films, they were being successful with action films with Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson and other avenues of media, getting a nice cash or revenue, and then they thought, hey, that will be applied to Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe, and it didn't. In fact, went the complete opposite and helped kill that company. Trying to be too big for their britches. And maybe that's not the exact same thing as here, but it's just maybe what's a better comparison? Okay, I mentioned Eddie Murphy, The Golden Child for Paramount. Uh, Golden Child did fairly well, made $80 million in U.S. Was in the top 10 highest grossing films of that year, 1986. But it was still a disappointment because Beverly Hills Cop 1 made like $200 million. To expect that every step of the way, again, is kind of foolhardy. And I know there's that phrase, there's never such thing as a surefire thing. There isn't. You may think it's surefire, but it's 100% not. There's always room for disappointment. And this whole training thing, I think, it made it seem more interesting than just tearing a bucket of water or two, like in the new one. And this is where you get like excellent. Get down to business to defeat the Huns. I love. I remember when I first saw this. I about a year ago, honestly. I didn't know much about the film. I had heard about it. I'd not seen it before. And when the song came about, I'm like, wow. Okay, that's Donny Osmond. I know who that is. I didn't. Foreign wise, Jackie Chan saying this. I'm like, the beat of the song is very catchy. It's an entertaining montage with humor and character. Wow, Mulan smiled. I didn't show an emotion, unlike the new one. And this might be one of the best songs in a Disney film. I'm making that big statement. It's a very catchy. It works very well with montage. And yeah, this works very well for a montage. Be a man. Be a man. And even within the montage, it's telling a lot of the story. It's telling these guys are not respecting her because of what she did in the past, but then respect grows. She's having doubts, weakness. Why don't you just give up? No, I won't. And then mans up, so to speak, and uses her ingenuity, her brain, and figure out how to do this. So right there, you're showcasing a lot of the story within a montage and a fun, entertaining song that's energetic and gets you pumped up. Then it definitely gets you pumped up with this. I didn't use her brain, like, let me do it this way. Oh, that's the way to do it. Like, what does the tearing the buckets of water really prove in the new one? Which is funny how they want to be so much more progressive, but yet this is more progressive than that movie. Plus, it's entertaining montage. It's colorful, and like I said, it actually tells a story and told it fairly well. So, and it's one of the things people remember the most about the movie. So they made the new one, and there's none of that in it, except they kind of taught some of the lyrics, which just seems awkward and random dialogue. You say a lyric from the song, and it's like, okay, all right. A little bit there, though. Now that the room's a bit cooler, I can lower that down a little bit. If you wonder what I'm drinking Mellow Yellow. I had to order online on Amazon because they don't have it in stores because of pandemic limited a lot of other resources that were non-essential except like a handful of sodas like Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, but like at least around here they did, so it sucks. I like the little detail that they had his ears blind his eyes. like fold through like a his own little blindfold. Of course, the old classic boxer shorts with hearts on them. Hmm. And of course, the way they're hiding all the private parts. It's kind of weird when you think about the idea that a good justice of the scene is that she's looking at Dick and being embarrassed because she's looking at man Dick as opposed to well other Dick. But and like even these three guys, they're given more personality than anything in the new one. Like you could actually pinpoint each of these three, the way they look, the way they act, the way they sound, the way they behave. Try doing that in the new one. Good luck on trying to do that. Again, the reason I keep mentioning that is I go with these Disney remakes. We know it's done for money because it's a business. They want to make money. They want to sustain their employers, sustain their business for as many ventures as they can for their capita. That's why they do. That's why they bought Star Wars. They bought Star Wars for money, not because oh we want to tell good stories. No, it's how much money can we make off of it. Some would say what agenda can we further as well. And the whole thing with China. I mean, I've never been to China. I don't know much about China. I just America is not perfect. Let me put it that way. America is far from perfect. Far, far, far from perfect. But I maintain that no country is perfect. And when you have some people in China kind of thumbing their nose down at people in America, I'm like, well, you not have room to talk because we have a lot of fucked up stuff, but so do you. Because every single country you think of does. No country is perfect. Every country has bullshit going on. I think they pick on China. Well, I think it's more like they want to pick on Disney because Disney wants to get on this high horse, and it's like we care about equality. We care about, and that's why if you don't like it, you're racist. And then people go, well, wait a minute, you released Star Wars: The Force Awakens in China, and John Boyega, who's black, is now this big, and nobody else was changed. But then you want to go on this tirade that if you don't like those films, you're racist. It's like, don't you think that's a bit weird? And that's the thing is that, for the most part, these are American films, but you're doing specific stuff to kiss China's ass, and then people are trying going, we don't want you to kiss our ass. Shut the fuck up. Like Top Gun Maverick. Oh, you can't have certain things on Tom Cruise's apparel because China will be mad about that. It's like, why should I fucking matter? Well, because there's a lot of box that comes from China, and it says, eh. I just realized that was a panda bear he was riding. I don't know why. That is a panda bear. But as for Disney films, I mean, going back in the day, you have the classes like Pinocchio, Cinderella, all that stuff. I'm sure today this would be deemed sexist. God forbid a guy likes a girl. But again, even with this, again, you're showcasing the different personalities of these three guys, what their wants and desires are, specifically when in terms of women and other stuff. And in other words, the guys are horny. I mean, the whole song must be, "We want to find a fuck. We want to find a fuck." It's light, it's cheery, and now the real, seriousness of war. Again, I like the animation of the orange glow from the fires has been lasting probably. Although I'm surprised I didn't see the smoke from a lot farther away, because that's a lot of fucking smoke. And they didn't notice the smoke until they're right 2 feet away. But whatever. But I would even say in this, you get a bit more of the sadness of this scene, because in the remake, it seemed like this scene goes by so quick. We're here, oh shit, look, now it's time to move on. But it seems like you see a lot more here with the destruction of this village. And people dead, actual dead bodies. Which is kind of risky for a Disney film. But I mean, the death of James Earl Jones' character in The Lion King, Bambi's mom back in the day. I mean, it's not the first or last that death. But it just seems like a crazy concept nowadays for an animated film. I'm trying to think of 1998. Like, there's a decent amount of movies came out in 1998 that are recognizable to some extent. I mean, you had Godzilla, 1998, Armageddon come out in 1998. I think The Truman Show was 98. They tried to do that movie, The Avengers, that based on the British TV show with Sean Connery in it. I'm trying to remember more. There's something about Mary might have been 1998. I know Rush Hour was. Snake Eyes, I believe. That might have been 99. 90, trying to remember. 90 or 99 with Nicolas Cage. I just have to look up 1998 films just out of curiosity. Hmm. Damn. I'll get back to that later. Because we got a battle going on. Yeah, get the fucking supplies out of there. Mm. I did an interesting style of weapons, having these firework type of uh, weapons with like a dragon in front of it as a face. Hmm. I didn't. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen this, so yeah, I've only seen it one time. Ah, there's our villain. But I was talking about 1998. I mean, that was the year you had American History X, you had Saving Private Ryan, you had, I mentioned Armageddon, The Big Lebowski, Bride of Chucky, City of Angels, Dark City, Deep Impact, Enemy of the State with Will Smith, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Halloween H2O, 20 years later. You had Jean-Claude Van Damme film called Knockoff, The Man in the Iron Mask with Leonardo DiCaprio, Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis, Pleasantville, The Prince of Egypt, The Quest for Camelot. So those were other animated films, which I remember not minding those films. The Replacement Killers, Ronin. Yeah, Steakhouse was 98. Soldier with Kurt Russell. The Thin Red Line, The Truman Show, U.S. Marshals, The Waterboy with Adam Sandler, The Wedding Singer. Um, Actually, the top 10 highest grossing films was Armageddon, Saving Private Ryan, Godzilla, There's Something About Mary, A Bug's Life, Deep Impact, Mulan, Doctor Dolittle, Shakespeare in Love, and Lethal Weapon 4. So there you go. Yeah, I was going to say that's the Avalanche, right? And when you have this stuff happen in animation, for me, it looks a bit better because it's all blended into the same format. So you're not losing your sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not taking out of the movie because now you're seeing a bunch of video game CGI amidst real people. You're in a weird way, your sense of disbelief is still steady in a way. And even in this Avalanche, it felt like Mulan did more. If I didn't, because of animation, style of animation, when you try to do this mixed with live action, it just costs a lot more money because the time that you're trying to make it look real, when for the most part it's never going to look photorealistic. Again, unless you're doing it for real. But here, like the way they make it look as the horse going through the snow and the current of snow falling consistently. Again, the sporting characters having something to do and fucking it up. Again, a lot of times, as ridiculous as it is, as stupid as it is, because it's Disney, because it's animation, you kind of buy into the ridiculousness of so is the rope I guess wrapped around the horse, I guess? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Let's see, looking on Mulan. I mentioned Wikipedia, I might as well read. I got it up here. Let's see. In 1989, Walt Disney Feature Animation Florida had opened with 40 to 50 employees with its original purpose to produce cartoon shorts and featurettes. By late 1993, following several animation duties on Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King, executives were convinced to allow the Feature Animation Florida studios to produce their first independent film. A short straight-to-video film titled China Doll about an oppressed and miserable Chinese girl who is whisked away by a British Prince Charming to happiness in the West was in development. There was a manuscript of the book based on the Chinese poem The Song of Fa Mulan. Disney decided to combine the two separate projects. Let's see. And yeah, I guess they started working on it. And the original idea for the story was now I guess before that, look at this. Again, compared to the remake, the original, she's injured. Oh my god, you're a girl. It's not, I could get away scot free. No one would know who I am. I'm just gonna go, you know what? I'm a girl. Go ahead and kill me. And it's like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? Like, this seemed more natural, smarter, and better storytelling. And he's not going to do it because, despite the rules, go ahead and leave. Hey, you saved my life. And it just works better storytelling-wise. Well, what, do you want the remake to just go beat for beat? I don't want the remake to exist because it wasn't fucking needed, and all that money and all that time could have been done on a better project. That's my point. That's when with a lot of these movies people go, well, you still have the original. It's not about not having the original. It's about all this wasted time and money and effort that could be put into better projects or more original projects or more creative projects or projects that would just make better fucking movies. Because that's at the end of the day what I want. I want as many good movies, and that's subjective, of course. I can only say my subjective. I want as many subjectively, for me, good movies that I can enjoy and like and be entertained by. Because I'm a fan of movies in general. Of all different kinds of movies in general. So don't waste my motherfucking time and other people's motherfucking time spending hundreds of millions of dollars on useless bullshit. When hell, you could have made 4 or 3 decent to good movies with that money. Especially with all these scripts that you hear about that sound good, could have been good movies, and you say no to them, but you didn't put all your eggs in a basket like Mulan or various other movies you can mention. But anyway. But apparently, the story was supposed to be a Tootsie-like romantic comedy where Mulan, a misfit tomboy that loves her father, is betrothed to Shane, whom she has not met. On her day of being betrothed, her father carves her destiny on a stone tablet in the family temple, which she shatters in anger, running to forge her own destiny. So, in other words, you don't marry this guy. I don't want to marry that guy. Well, you don't do it anyway. Fuck this. Break the tablet. I'm going to make it on my own. So, Chris Sanders was the head of story, and he said, I don't like this romantic comedy aspect. Let's be more faithful to the original legend, having Mulan leave home because of the love for her father. Because there was no dragon in the original legend, Mulan did not have any animal companions. Roy E. Disney suggested the character Mushu, and then veteran story artist Joel Grant created the cricket character. Animator Barry Temple admitted that the directors did not want the cricket in the movie. The story department didn't want him in the movie. The only people who truly wanted him in the movie were Michael Eisner and Joel Grant and myself, because I was assigned the character. I would sit in meetings and they say, well, where's the cricket during all this? Someone else would say, who gives a shit? Well, they said, oh, to hell with the cricket, but I just added that. They felt the character was not necessary to tell the story, which is true. And it is true, it's not necessary to the story, but I thought it was a cute little thing. Cute, nice little addition, the cricket. You know, you have this little thing, and it doesn't talk, which makes it even more cute and more endearing, the fact it doesn't talk, but it reacts, and it's innocent, and... You're right, it's not essential to the story, but it's a nice ingredient. It's like making any type of meal. There's all sorts of ingredients, seasoning, the right salt, the right pepper, all that. It creates a good banquet, a good meal. Little things can matter just as much as the big things, for better and for worse. Interesting. Tia Carrera was an early candidate for the voice of Mulan. Interesting. I wonder why they didn't... I could see Tia Carrera. That would have been pretty cool, Tia Carrera. Leia Salander was hired to do the voice and the singing. She was the singing voice of Jasmine in Aladdin, but here she was going to do both speaking and singing. But directors did not find her attempt at a deeper speaking voice when Mulan impersonated Ping convincing, so Ming Na Wen was brought in to speak the role. The filmmakers listened to her narration at the beginning of the film The Joy Luck Club. Interesting. For the role of Mushu, they were aiming for a top Hollywood talent like they did with Robin Williams in Aladdin. They approached Joe Pesci and Richard Dreyfuss until Michael Eisner considered Eddie Murphy. Joe Pesci and Richard Dreyfuss. That's kind of hard to imagine Joe Pesci as the Mushu character. It'd be a different movie. For the speaking voice of the captain, BD1 was hired, although his singing voice was Donny Osmond, and Donny Osmond was had previously auditioned for the speaking role of the title character Hercules. Interesting. Interesting. June Foray was the voice of Grandmother Fa. June Foray, that's the lady who is the voice of Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Rocky and Bullwinkle. She was also Cindy Lou Who, Granny from the Warner Brothers cartoons, Looney Tunes. A lot of work. Let's see. I guess it wasn't. Why did I think it was Jerry Goldsmith who did this? Oh, he did. Wait, there's something here. Is Danny Elfman and Thomas Newman were considered to score the film. English composer Rachel Portman was selected as the film's composer. Oh, Portman became pregnant during production and decided to back out. Then they got Randy Edelman, whose Driving Hard theme was used in the trailer. They were considered. And then Jared Goldsmith became available and signed on. Christine Aguilera, her song Reflection. I guess that helped start her career, apparently. Mulan grossed $22.8 million in its opening weekend, ranking second behind The X-Files. It went on to gross $120 million in the US and Canada, $304 million worldwide. It was the second highest grossing family film of the year behind A Bug's Life. Mulan outgrossed Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules. Its box office returns failed to match those of the Disney films from the first half of the Renaissance, such as Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. It got 86% Rotten Tomatoes. Consensus being exploring themes of family, duty, and honor. Mulan breaks new grounds as a Disney film while still bringing vibrant animation and sprightly characters to the screen. I agree. And as they're trying to get in to save the Emperor, this is a nice callback to that music from before, which I thought was a nice little decision. Only much more. Which I wondered, would Jerry Goldsmith have done this, or did someone else do this music? Like Jerry Goldsmith, obviously not the lyrics, but like the music, I wonder. Of course, the whole idea is that now we're using feminine traits. That's not a backseat. It's not wrong, awful, terrible. It can actually be quite a positive, which works in this aspect to help them get and achieve their goals. Let's see. What, they're hungry. They like apples. Pretty much, shut your trap. Of course, they're using the training. Fuck these guys up royally. Damn. Knock them the fuck out. And this is a little bit of the remake. They wanted a live-action adaptation of Mulan in the 2000s with Zane Z as the star and Chuck Russell as the director. That'd be weird. Chuck Russell, the guy who did the Blob remake, and Elm Street 3 as the director. But yeah. That remake was just such a waste of actors like Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Jason Scott Lee. Just a complete waste of good actors. Good performers, at least. Yeah, keep streaming all you want. What are you gonna do with that toothpick? Fuck you doing, bitch? It's funny, he didn't recognize her until he changed her hair. Guy must be blind as a bat. You don't recognize me? Let me put my hair like this. Now do you recognize me? Oh my god. It's like, wow. That's all it took? Where the hell did that bird come from that able to hitch a ride on? Ride's like, I'm minding my own business. Who the fuck is this dragging on my back? That one shot, the crowd, when it crashes through the wall, you see that the crowd's just standing still. I guess they weren't able to make a move or stuff. I just in the wide shots, they can't really make the crowd move too much. I do find it funny how they get mad when, oh my god, a white guy voiced an Asian character. I'm like, you do know that all of our films, when they go to China or anywhere, they don't get white people to voice. Like, you still get people in Mexico. They get people who are Spanish speaking to voice them. Same with China. They get Asian actors to voice them. If people don't realize that, it's based, you know, it's like people don't realize that apparently. I don't know, they just seem like a more fun defeat of the bad guy with the whole firework display. And like this, it's more about Mulan using her brains and her wit, while in the remake, her superpower chi bullshit. I got superpower, you know, whatever. Take the superpower, stick up your super ass. Are you a bitch? Your ass will be grass now. God damn it. What is this bullshit? All of it. You fucking asshole. This is bullshit. God damn it, man. Sorry, I'm just listening to the dialogue. I miss Pat Morita. May rest in peace. Even you know, it's not like the biggest role, but he did a nice job in this film. Works well for what it's supposed to be. Yeah, rest in peace, Pat Morita. I mean, he's always looked as Mr. Miyagi, and it makes sense because that's his most famous role. But he was a good actor, and even small roles he appeared in, he fitted fairly well. I don't know why. I'm for some reason when they cheered, it's like, yeah, she's leaving. Like, thank God she left. Yeah, that's not why, Baudo. That just popped in my head and made me laugh. Great, making myself laugh. Ha 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 ha. They're leaving. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. Just nice little father-daughter moment. Oh, that's another thing. Like they took this character out of the remake because it's problematic that the captain would fall in love with the girl. I'm like, what's problematic about it? There was no love until after the fucking battle and war. What? Are people fucking stupid or what? Yes, they are. So I already answered my own question. Answer my own damn question. So what about the other dragon you destroyed? Barry Cook and Tony Bancroft. And yeah, it's a pretty short film. I forgot how short this movie was. Didn't need 2 hours to tell a story. Go figure. Music by Matthew Wilder. Score composed by Jerry Goldsmith. There's another guy I miss, Jerry Goldsmith. I would say that's my favorite composer, Jerry Goldsmith. The Rambo 2, well, the first three Rambo films, Leviathan, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, even stuff like Total Recall. Just a great composer, Jerry Goldsmith. Greatly missed. I just don't really have much else to say. It's about 5 minutes of credits. So, yeah, solid film, good songs, lush animation, solid voice work, goes by a quick pace. And sorry, wasn't the most exciting commentary. I didn't grow up with the film. I didn't watch it when I was a kid. I saw it for the first time like a year ago or so. So, and then the little behind the scenes I eventually read out. But yeah, fun film. People like Miguel Ferrer, Jared Goldsmith, Pepper Reed, and such are missed. Eddie Murphy, not I didn't find him irritating or annoying. And yeah, watch it again further states how they did this very well, showing Mulan as an actual character that needed growth and made mistakes and errors and had emotion in her face and her performance and her personality, unlike the new one where she was a blank slate, a boring, dry as a cracker. I thought that crackers at least have salt on them and something. Like, imagine a cracker with no salt, nothing. So I guess they are saltine. So even a saltine has more than the new Mulan has. But yeah, solid movie. Fun montages, entertaining supporting characters. Overall, pretty solid animated Disney film. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.